I don't know about you, but I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah.
But there's a guy who's got off his arse and done something about it and made a great day for 36 kids. We could all see we enjoyed it because they were going mad. So, what are the steps in setting up a trust? I'm not going to go through this. We're there. So we've got the working club. We need to have a launch in a few months' time, and then we have a steering committee, and then we decide, or you decide, who's going to be in the board, who's going to run the Supporters Trust. So this is going to be the. Hopefully, we've got some questions. Are there any questions from the floor about this? No questions? Oh, big figure. I'll take the mic over, Jacob. I've got a mic for you. Turn it on, Jacob.
Is it on? Yes, it is. One of the things that I think would concern anyone with regards to a trust rather than a membership of ordinary football club is people that come to football clubs, rugby clubs, whatever, their main reason for coming to these is to sit, watch the game, enjoy the club facilities, if you like, is the aspect of what is going to be the benefit for those particular guys with having the actual trust. I know you've gone through it briefly with regards to, yes, we can possibly come within the club with regards to directors of, etc., etc. So I don't know how many supporters this club has at the moment. But really, would it not be that we'd have to have the majority on also as members of this trust before we did any good?
Well, I think what we've got to do as a trust is prove to... we can set this trust up with 10, 20, 30 members. But it's not going to be successful unless everyone wants to get involved. And I think, why have I got involved? I've got involved because I want to watch football here for the next 20 years. I'm a guy who stands here on my own. I didn't know anyone in this club before I met these guys, and to be honest, I didn't want to. I was quite happy, to come along, stand there, watch football on my own, because that's what I wanted to do. But then I could sense that actually what I wanted to do was to stay there for the next 20 years. And I felt the way that I could stabilise that was to get involved and to create a trust to help that happen. I'm going to use one example of something as well that's happened that I know of in the Supporters Trust, which could be comparable to us. And I'm going to talk about Arsenal, because Arsenal's a team that everyone knows. When Arsenal wanted to go to the Emirates, there was a lot of opposition from the local council. One of the things why the council gave planning permission was because the Arsenal Football Club Supporters Trust lobbied them very severely. And I feel that for us, if we do ever want to move to another ground, we could do something similar. Because, many people have put on the website, go and talk to your local councillor. Well, okay, one person talking to the local councillor makes no difference. We have a great ambition here to have 1,890 members. That's how many members we want. That was JT's idea. But we want 1,890 members. If we can reach that number, because we're only looking at charging people £5 a membership, then when we go to the council and saying, right, we've got 1,890 members, this is what we want to happen, they'll sit up and listen. So possibly we can help the club go to a new ground if this is something that's going to happen in the future. And Arsenal Football Club did that with their Supporters Trust. But there are lots of things, and this is why it's a bit why the Supporters Direct guys work here, because they can give you lots of they can give you lots of examples of what's happened at other clubs. But what I would say is that, you know, JT's is an example of getting more people here. And I think we all like a fuller ground. We all like more supporters here. And I think, you know, we can actively, we believe that if people are members of Supporters Trust, they will feel better about the club. They will get more people to come to the club, to the games. And suddenly, let's get back to 1,500, 1,900, 2,900 against Canby Island a few years ago. So yes, we could have a view of what's it going to do for me, but I think that's up to us. And, you know, that's up to us. We can do whatever we want to do. I totally believe that.
Yeah, thanks. That's quite elucidating. What worries me about all these things is that earlier on they asked for a few members of this club to become salesmen. The sales team was set up to try and sell the hoardings around the club. One of them is on your committee. Hello. Yeah. I went out, I got 2 people. Now, at that time, we could only go to who we thought would be possible sponsors, bring the information back to the club without naming names, and ask them to write to the possible sponsors with the full offer. The 2 that I brought down here, one was Grays Honda, the other one was the Van Hire people. And they never heard of me. I got a bit disappointed.
I think that's why it's very important that it's a supporters trust rather than a supporters association. Because the supporters trust is a separate operation from the club. Of course we want to work hand in hand with the club, but it is a completely separate operation. And if we get sponsorship, we'll get sponsorship for the trust, not for the club. Now, if we decide for the money that we raise to then help the club in the way that we all agree to do, then that's fine. But we are not a fundraising operation for the club. We're not cheap labour for the club, if you like. What we are is to support the club and work with the club to develop all aspects of the club. But we will seriously run, we've got to run as a completely different operation. And we will decide what we do with the money if we raise money by fundraising for the trust. So I hope that answers your question.
Sorry, can I ask a question on that then? Sorry, are you going to be in competition with the club then?
No, not at all.
Getting sponsors?
No, not at all. No.
That surely is a big worry.
We're not in competition with the club at all. No. I mean, if you remember a few months ago, what I would say is look, this trust was started by the club. Okay. They were about 6, 7, 8 months ago. I remember that Mickey Wood was standing up here himself and said, "We want to get the Supporters Trust going. We feel that is the future of the club." And we were first brought together by Kevin Lamb. And Tony Turberville has been very, very, very supportive in helping us get the trust going. So yes, and if you look at any of the supporters trusts that have been successful, they work hand in hand with the club. Where you start getting the West Ham one is a prime example. The West Ham Trust revolved around getting Terry Brown out. That trust failed. So that's not what it's about. Our objectives are to achieve what we've said. Greater links with the community, longevity of the club, be there as a support mechanism, getting the tradition back in, doing all those sort of things. It's not us being the club by any stretch of the imagination. If it was, I'm sure the club would want us in here tonight. Do you know what I mean? We're very grateful for them to give this opportunity. We are there to support the club, not to be against the club.